All right.
This meeting is being recorded.
All right. So, first of all, could you all turn your cameras on unless you're eating dinner? I know a couple of you are eating dinner, but I just need to see who's on, and also I feel like I'm not sat here by myself. So if you could switch your cameras on, but leave everything on mute. Hey, Peyton. Nice, Henry. Nice to put a face to your name. What's up, Kevin? John, nice to see you. All right. I'm going to assume. Hi, Anna. How you doing? All right. So we're going to get going. But first of all, a quick introduction to Audrey, who's sitting on this. She is the Chelsea Piers assistant athletic director, and she's also the field house manager. So when you guys are playing on the fields, she is the person that that organizes those fields for you, and she's on this call right now. Audrey, I don't know if you have a microphone, if you can say anything, but feel free to jump in if you want to say anything.
I'll just say hi. I'm at work right now, so if I jump out of the camera, that's why.
All right. So yeah, Audrey's been helping me set this up and been a great help to me. Like I say, we're recording it. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Completely understand that you are probably sick of Zoom since the pandemic, sick of all that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to kind of give you an overview of the program, make sure you know what you're getting in for, and then go from there. All right. So this is me. You can't actually see me in the picture. But anyway, so I'm going to be running the course. This is something I've wanted to do for a number of years, but this is the first time we've actually been able to do it. You can see my qualifications there. If I haven't met you before, I'm looking forward to meeting you. But I've been coaching in this country for about 21 years now. And before that, I was in the UK playing and coaching while I was playing as well. So, you know, I've a decent experience. And then I'm also now currently retaking my US licenses. I just did my D license last year. I'm doing my C license this year. I just signed up for it today. So I'm fairly heavily involved in the education of soccer and want to kind of help people with that. So the program overview, I'll let you read it. You don't necessarily need me to do that, but you can read through that. But the whole point of this is there's a real lack of coaches around in this area. A couple of reasons why that is. A lot of us, if you think of the coaches in the program, myself, John Ruddock, Ross Stride, Darren Gourlay, the British coaches, we all came over with coaching companies, which then taught us how to coach and programs. Tatiana, can you just mute your phone?
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
No problem. So yeah, we came over, we were working with coaching companies. I worked with Noga Soccer, Darren and John also worked the same things. Ross was UK international. So we learned to coach that way. You also then have a large group of our coaches, which were born and raised in Stamford, or at least raised in Stamford, maybe born outside the country, but they've learned to coach after their playing careers. A lot of them played at West Hill. And then we also have Susie Starr, who's grown up in this area, who went to Yale to play soccer and then was a grad assistant at Fairfield University. So we've got kind of different areas, but the coaching kind of comes from the same area. So one of the reasons why we're short of coaches are, one, we desperately want more female coaches. It's tough for us to find female coaches because, quite frankly, they get fast-tracked onto bigger and better things. So if you're interested, if you're a female soccer player interested in being a coach, you'll quite often be eligible to get a job at a college where you get a better job, you get benefits, etc. So we understand when people want to take those kind of jobs. The other part of that, as I said, a lot of us came over with coaching companies from outside of the US. Those visas are no longer available for people, so that basically that whole industry has gone down, and now it's homegrown coaches that are now needed. So that's the aim of kind of helping you guys become coaches, give you a broad understanding of just how to run a session, what should be in a session. I'm not going to be giving you X's and O's. We're not going to be kind of, this is exactly how you do it. We're just going to give you a crash course of this is how you should coach. So you're not going in blind when we ask you to coach. The other thing that we're thinking about with this is it will give you a great opportunity, one, to work within Chelsea Piers, but also in other programs. It's not just a Chelsea Piers problem that we haven't got coaches. It's a problem all over the country, really. But even in this area, there's plenty of other clubs that are always looking to hire coaches, and they want qualified coaches. And there are also opportunities for when people go away to college to also coach there. And this is transferable state to state all over the country. So it's a good skill to have. And again, something if you want to carry on doing afterwards, you can do that. But especially through college, it can help kind of pay your way. And I'd happily reach out to clubs that we know around the colleges that you'll be going to see if we can get you set up. All right. What to expect. So I sent this out the other day. I've actually amended this a little bit, but real quickly, we're going to do 4 on-field sessions. The first one will be next week. That's where you will be the players. I will train you, and then we'll break to discuss what we're training, what the point is with this, and again, it's going to be more about why we're doing things in coaching, what we're doing in coaching, rather than this is the session you should be doing. This is how you run a shooting and finishing session. It's going to be more about why are the balls in this position? Why have I put the cones here? Why are we thinking that? So again, it's going to be a little bit more in-depth stuff with the trainer sessions. Then to complete the course, you're going to then help with 12 hours of Chelsea Piers coaching. So it'll either be classes. Everybody will do some classes, which are again in the week or on the weekends, Saturday mornings. It will also be our teams, where we'd want everybody to shadow a couple of teams at an area. So it might be one coach who coaches 2 teams that are different. For myself, I actually coach 3 or 4 teams, but you could follow me with the 2012 boys, which is my son's team, and then follow me with maybe the 2009 girls, which again are different level teams and different age groups. Then once we get through all these areas, we can sign off on those hours that you're doing as community service hours for your school. Once we're through that, then I'm setting up another program, which is we're going to call it Teenage Kicks, which is going to be a summer tournament for basically people that can't normally play at Chelsea Piers. So we're going to go out to the boys and girls clubs, to the after schools programs, and offer them the chance to play in Chelsea Piers in a tournament in the summer. You will then be the coaches for those teams. So again, looking at it, we'd want you to meet the kids, get to know the kids, kind of implement what you want from them a little bit at the start of it. So there'll be 2 training sessions before then, and then you'll act as the head coach for the tournament on that for those players in the summer. Again, dates will be still to be determined, but it'll be a summer weekend when there's not a lot going on at Chelsea Piers. We'll have these teams come in, you'll coach them. Hopefully it'll be a lot of fun, and it gives them opportunity to play in Chelsea Piers when sometimes they don't get the opportunity to do that. The idea would be to make sure you've got the equipment you need. Again, you can borrow cones, keys, etc. from Chelsea Piers.
It's only 10 hours again, count to your community service.
You just mute your phone if you've got it on there. Then you will also, we'll also put you through to do your grassroots licenses. So this is US soccer. Again, I was just telling you I did my D license, I'm doing my C license. These are the ones before that. Again, we've got sponsorship that has agreed to cover the costs of all that stuff. So right now, none of this is costing you any money whatsoever, and that would be the aim to do that. The other thing then would be for the grassroots courses, most of it is online, but there is an assessment day or a day where you get together. I'm speaking with one of the coach educators and trying to make sure that we can hold them at Chelsea Piers at a time that works for everybody. And then once you're qualified, you'll be qualified to come and work for us. So basically, you could help with the coaching classes at Chelsea Piers. There may be some assistant coaching for some of you, summer camps, you know, all that kind of good stuff that you'll actually be prepared to coach and work in. The only thing is there is an age criteria of 16 to actually be paid. It's supposed to be 17 at Chelsea Piers, but if we know you and we can get the information, then it's 16. So for those of you a bit younger, there would be maybe some opportunities to volunteer until you do turn 16. All right, that's a lot of the talking, a lot of the information. Does anybody have any questions before we move on? No? Wonderful. All right, so these are going to be, I would like you to open up the notes section, and let me find the chat section, sorry. So everybody's involved there, and I just want you to write these answers in here. First thing, do you need to be a good player to be a good coach? Theo, no, good. No. All right, easy question. So no, you don't have to be a good player. What you do have to do is have an understanding of the game, a personality, which is sometimes the stumbling block for a lot of coaches, desire to help people, and a desire to learn. So, you know, you don't have to be a good soccer player. And quite frankly, often the players that have to think about the game a little bit more rather than the players that are just natural end up being the better coaches because they spend time thinking about it rather than just doing it. It's essential that you don't take yourself too seriously. Let's see if it's yourself and Darren Corley. NBC.
Thomas Brown, right? So Thomas Brown, nice swing. So I'm always moving my feet and getting over the top of it. Right, there it goes. Thomas, Thomas, mate? You know, you go so nice, mate. Yeah. Ra, and I think so. Makes it. Right, so as you go here, if you want to, right.
So as you can see, it's fairly important not to take yourself too seriously. And again, as I just proved there, mistakes will also happen whilst you're coaching. So you've got to deal with those. All right, next question. How many different types of soccer coaching are there? And let's go with how many different types of coaching do you think there are at Chelsea Piers to start with? So put in your in the chat what you think. A lot. Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you, Kona. 5. Okay. It's pretty 8. All right. 1 per coach, different coaches' positions and also styles. That's very good, John. We're going to get to that in a minute. All right. So we're going to run through the different types of coaching at Chelsea Piers right now. So right now, 1 is classes. So here's a rundown of classes. We have Tykes, which is 2-year-olds, parent participation class. Spikes, which is 3 and 4-year-olds, adventure soccer. The difference between those two is one can be away from the parents or caregivers. The other one has to be with them. Developmental, 4 to 10-year-olds, introduction to soccer through small-sided games, teaching. And then skills classes, 10 to 14-year-old, focus on skill development for players that are already playing on teams or already have some experience in the game. So the difference here is the Tykes and the Spikes, the younger kids, they need a ball each. And again, we'll discuss it a little bit more, but you take a ball off a 2 or 3-year-old, that's not going to be enjoyable for them anymore. They're not going to like it, and they're not going to want to play anymore. So it's very important that you understand the readiness of kids. Again, there's many more people, way more qualified than me, that will tell you this as you go through coaching courses. But you know, we have a lot of curriculum based on everything's based with a player with a ball, player and parent with a ball on those younger ages. Then as we work down to developmental, the 4 to 10-year-olds, there's more competition involved in that. So people taking the ball off each other. But we are big believers in the less competition for the ball there is, the more touches you can get. So a 1v1 is 1 ball, 2 people. There's more chances of having that ball. More touches you get on the ball, the better players get to be. The more they enjoy the game. Skills classes, again, it's going to be individual skills development. So it all has lots of touches. Next, individual training. You see Ross Stride out on the fields all the time. I'm sure some of you, I know some of you are trained with him actually. Johnny Sanchez is out on our fields quite a lot. Edwin does a lot of individual training. Some of us don't. And as John just pointed out, different styles of coaches for different things. Taking Ross, for example, he's a really great technician when it comes to soccer. So he knows the points of soccer that need to be trained individually. So he's more suited to that. Other coaches, not so much. So it's also, some people really enjoy doing that individual stuff. Other people, not so much. I don't particularly love doing individual sessions, so I don't do very many of them. Camps, summer camps, school breaks, more of a focus on keeping kids active, teaching them in bite-sized pieces, whilst they're also playing and being safe. So that's 3, 4. Then our teams, which again breaks into subcategories. Junior academy, 6 to 7 year olds. These are for the kids that have mostly been in the classes, or kids that show a competitive nature, love the game and want to play with like-minded players early. So a lot of these kids are kind of the kids that you think are like, wow, they're amazing when you first see them. Again, that's because they really kind of pick up on the game quickly. Doesn't mean they're going to end up being great, but it does mean that we want to get them with like-minded players as soon as possible. Junior Premier, 8 to 10 year olds. Again, some of you have been through this bit, but that's 2 times a week, play as a team in the leagues. Full Premier, which some of you are in right now. Actually, none of you are in Full Premier right now, I don't think, but that's the 10 to 14 year olds. They train 3 times a week, fall and spring, 2 times a week in the winter, play in the leagues, tournaments, and have the winter strength and conditioning, where we've added that part in. And then Senior Premier, which is most of you, which is high school, 14 year olds, train twice a week, winter and spring, play in the leagues, tournaments, and the winter strength and conditioning. So there's the 4 types that we have at Chelsea Piers right there with subcategories. So I didn't count them up, but there's about, I don't know, 12 different types. So I think so. Cam, we'll go with 13 as soon as you said that. Additionally to that, coaching outside of Chelsea Piers, high school coaching. We have several current and ex-high school coaches in the club. College, currently we have 1 college coach and several ex-college assistant coaches. That's 1 college assistant coach and several ex-assistant coaches. We don't have any head coaches right now. Professional teams, we don't have anybody there right now, but we have had people that have worked in the academies and worked in those areas before on our staff. We do also have one who's helping with the US national team at a level there. All right, back to the questions. Anybody got any questions for me before I carry on? Wonderful. Again, we're speeding through this because I don't want to take up too much of your time. In the chat, who was the best coach you have been coached by? Go. Ross Stride. Ross, look, 2 of you straight away. That was easy. 3, Ross Stride. Ross. My father, Ross, and Zenio. Nice. John Ruddock. Ross. All right. Talia, Neil, nice. Oh, Peyton, thank you. All right, next question, and this is the bigger question. Why? Go. Kona, Danny, I like it. Why were they good coaches for you? Technique? Yeah. Understands me? Yeah, makes sense. Mia, built with confidence. Yeah, John's great at that. Style match mine. I'm very good at developing players. Yeah, help me improve individual skills. Passionate coach that focuses on little things and a lot. He doesn't leave details out. Yeah, great. Made it fun and helped me improve in many different ways. Because he helped me build my technique and knows how to make practice fun. There we go. That's Sebastian has just hit the nail on the head, as did Talia. Nobody there mentioned winning and losing, right? Nobody mentioned that we won lots of games, that we became champions. And I know, Talia, you won a lot of games with Neil, particularly. And I know, again, that's the guys that played for Ross also won a state championship. You know, there's plenty of winning going on, but none of you mentioned that. It was about the development and it's now been about the fun. So if you look back at what we talked about, what I say in the types of coaching we have, every one of those is based on it being enjoyable. Every one of those is based on it being fun in some way. Soccer as a whole, when you're playing it, is a fun game. So the role of a coach is to enhance that fun, make the learning fun, and figure out how to help you build your technique whilst it's still being enjoyable. If you're standing in a line waiting for a ball, waiting for a go, it's not enjoyable. So some people it is enjoyable for, actually, but for the majority, the fun comes from doing, and the fun comes from achieving and getting better through playing. So that's a big part for you to remember when we're going through all this stuff. Nothing to do with winning and losing. All right. Number 3, what will be your biggest challenge as a coach? Nobody knows you better than yourself. What do you think you might have a challenge with? If you write that in the chat as well. Working with different types of kids. Yeah, it's a great point. Appealing to every player I coach. Turning to each player. Understand the play styles, yeah. All right, I'm going to answer a couple of those really quickly. Let me go back up. Working with different types of kids. So again, that's, Cameron, that's a great point, and it's something that we try and figure out as quickly as possible and put you where you're good and where you can be the best. So right now we have Johnny Sanchez and Edwin Miranda are running our younger kids classes, and they do our younger kids teams because they're a great fit. They instill a bit of discipline, they make it fun, they absolutely have the players' well-being at heart, and they also speak to the parents a lot. If you put myself and Danny with those younger teams, it might not be the same thing. We might not have the same level of commitment to the player, commitment to the family, and we may have different expectations rather than going through it all. So it's important that we put the right people with it. Darren Gourlay is a fantastic 3-year-old coach. He does a really, really great job with them, but it's not what he loves doing. So again, we try and, if whenever he will do one of the younger kids classes or sessions, we have him do it just because he's great. But at the same time, his interest and his appeal to him is to work with the slightly older age groups. So again, finding the right fit is important, but being able to do it all is also something that if you can do it all, then you're going to do really well. But again, Johnny Sanchez, going to him, he can really do the range of coaching. He can do everything fairly well. Right, John, being taken seriously. Again, the only person that you really need to be worried about taking seriously is yourself. Again, this has got to be fun. So if you're working with kids want to learn from you, they want to have fun with you, and they want to impress you. So kids are going to take you seriously. The rest of it, you know, parents don't really matter to start with. Your parents, again, don't really matter to start with. It's going to be you and the kids, and a kid, again, you're kind of like rock stars to these younger kids. So they will definitely take you seriously. Sebastian, figuring out what to do, that's what we're here for, and that's what we're going to help you with. So we do have all the curriculum that you need for classes, etc., inside inside Chelsea Piers' office, and that's what I'm going to help you with. All right, last bit of this then. What are your favorite parts of practice? Go. Scrimmaging and shooting and crossing. Sebastian, that was easy again. All right. So not standing in line waiting for a go, Sebastian. Scrimmages, 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 scrimmaging. Scrimmages. All right. So 1v1, scrimmaging 1v1, scrimmages. There you go. So this also falls in line with the current teaching from the US Soccer, which again, you're going to get to when you do your grassroots stuff. But the whole methodology of the US Youth Soccer is play, practice, play. I'll send you the documents at some point. But again, Peyton can probably attest to this. When I start a session, you basically start playing, starting small-sided games. It also works great at Chelsea Piers because people come in dribs and drabs. They haven't been able to park. They got stuck in traffic. People come in at different rates. So I start them in small-sided games. We then break off and we'll focus on the skill. Hopefully, most of that can be taught within a play kind of session, so a possession session maybe to targets where you're moving, where we're working on approaching the angle of the ball and moving the ball quickly, then it goes back into a scrimmage, and then we work on those points within the scrimmage. So it's a really fun way to coach. It's also a nice way for you to be a coach, and it's a nice way for the players to be involved in. And really, you can't mess it up when the players are touching the ball. So as long as the player's touching the ball as much as possible, even if you're having a bad day, even if you're struggling, this helps you with it. So I'm really glad that you guys want to say that, scrimmaging. The days of dribbling around cones and standing across from each other passing, I would like to say are behind us, but they're not, because people still do it. But it shouldn't be. It should be the point where we're moving on and the game is being taught within the game. All right, brings us to our last bit. Any questions from you? Just unmute and shout it out if you have one. And again, this is going to go to not being shy and making sure that you're comfortable doing this stuff. Don't be shy to speak up if you have a question. All right, I guess nobody has any questions. You can ask me some. Great question, Matteo. So Matteo's asked there, what if I have practice at the same those times? You shouldn't have practice at those times, but I think you have the strength and conditioning stuff. Again, we can speak to the coach and see if you can be excused from it, but I will also be recording it. And there may be options for me to do 2 sessions at another time where you can do it. Right now, this is the only field space I can get because we're right in the middle of winter. So we'll do our best to get you in there. But there you go. The first on-field training will be on Wednesday, 4:30 to 5:30 at Chelsea Piers. Again, you need to come prepared to play in the training session. Basically going to run you through one of our training sessions. We're going to try and figure out how I record it for everybody. And then we're going to stop and talk about why we did things, what we did. Some of you will be playing all the time. Some of you don't have to play. If anybody is struggling to play or have an injury, you can have me record stuff. But again, you should be ready to be the participants in the session. Shin guards are optional. I'm hoping that we won't be kicking lumps out of each other, so you should be right. And you don't have to wear your CPSC kit, or if you don't have CPSC kit, you can wear, again, whatever you want, whatever you want to do. If you want to wear it, you can. But again, we'll do that. There will be one of the classes going on the next field at that same time, so you can have a look at that. But Matteo, it's a great question. Some of you will have practice around those same times, so I'll work with you to make sure that you get the information and get to see it. And if there's enough of you, I'll do an extra session for it. All right. Anybody else got any more questions? All right, wonderful. Well, thank you very much. That we've only got a few minutes left on the Zoom anyway, but I'm looking forward to this. Obviously, you can text me questions, you can email me questions individually, and I look forward to seeing you all next Wednesday at 4:30.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to stop recording now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.